Welcome to the drip. This is Scott. What is going on, everybody? Thank you so much. Yes. Here we are, home of the 150% guarantee, where 100% of the time I'm going to be over 50% right. Every knife has a story. What better place to talk about it? One portion, whether it's the beginning, end, middle, how it started, ended, anything. We just love to talk about and look at knives. Today's Saturday. It's September 10th already. Can you guys believe it? Things, at least here in the great Midwest, are starting to look like fall is approaching. Leaves are beginning to fall, and the temperatures are definitely, they're dropping a little bit. I think it's going to be in the 70s, maybe up into the 80s over the weekend here. And if it's not the weekend and there's snow outside where you're at and it's cold, or wherever date, time we find you, I want to tell you hello as well. So usually, and I did, just because we had a winner on our giveaway for the 400. It was Kelly O'Neill. Kelly did send me a nice email thanking me and telling me that he/she did receive, because I really don't know by the name Kelly, but that I would assume he received the knife and everything was going smooth with it. So usually what I tend to do is have knives that are a little bit more on the expensive side, because that's most of the knives I like to carry. But what I was going to do today is we're going to take a look at a Boker, which Boker is a really, in my opinion, a good budget line for the most part. More in a second on it, because this is going to be Magnum by Boker, which I believe is one of their cheaper, like economic, I should say, lines that they have. So we're going to take a look at one here. I don't know how popular these are, or how many people, actually buy or use Magnum by Boker. I know Boker's a very popular knife company. In fact, it's been around since, I think, 1869. Was it started in Germany, I believe? And that's a hell of a long time to be making knives. So Bokers themselves have been around for a very long time. Now, the quality on this knife that we're going to kind of take a look at, there's going to be certain things that we're going to notice or see that, of course, it's going to be an inexpensive knife. This knife is the Boker Magnum, Magnum series, and it is I think it's called the Mortem, Mortem, with having the skull on the side of it like this. So, it's a folding cleaver. The steel on this thing, it's not the best. This is 440A, not to be confused with 440B or C, which are actually a lot better steels. But 440A's, it's okay. It's just a budget steel. And you can tell. The handle itself, this is just going to be even on the handle, this is just going to be steel on the handle and such, which is going to make it a little bit heavier. I do like the jimping on the top. It is kind of aggressive, if we can notice here on the top of the spine as well, on the back of the blade itself. I'm not sure what this hole is for on the end of this. Does this have a purpose? Does anybody know? You've got thumb studs for deployment. You've also got a flipper for deployment right here. And with this jimping being as hard or aggressively done, when you flip this down, it can kind of irritate your finger. It's not the most aggressive. You can just tell this thing is going to be on Teflon washers, so it's just not going to fire out. I have to give it a little bit of a wrist action on it. And this, like I said, it'll kind of make your finger a little bit raw where it rubs when you flip this. Then you do have the thumb stud as well. It is a cleaver style, hollow grind. You can look at how nice and pronounced and long and broad the cleaver is. This is just going to be, from my understanding, this is just going to be for looks. This, although you can, and I tested, you can open like a Coke bottle, beer bottle, anything that may have a top on, a bottle cap or whatever. You can pop off using this. But I don't believe that this had any real purpose, this area inside. You can't put your finger in here, because if you do, you're going to poke yourself or cut yourself. So it's just not big enough for anything other than design. So when holding or grasping this knife, you're going to have all your fingers, all 4 of them, into these locked areas. Let's go ahead and weigh and measure this, because I want to get a size. So let's look at the blade itself. So the cutting edge on this is going to be 3 1/4 inches. The total blade is going to be just a little bit longer if you go to the handle. But depending on where you measure that, I mean, over 3 1/4 isn't really going to it's not going to matter. The handle itself, we're looking at, I guess this really isn't a glass breaker, but if we measure that into it, you're looking at 5 about 1/8. Really usable handle is only like going to be a little over 3 inches. If you look at where the finger grooves are on here, barely over 3 inches of where your hand's going to go. For me, that causes a little bit of an issue that we'll look at as well when I'm kind of showing you how to grab and hold this particular blade. Let's look at the weight on this. .7. So, and that's because of the materials that are used in this. That's kind of heavy. It really is. When I'm holding this particular knife, and anything that's going to be 6 or 7 ounces, it's gonna have some beef to it. When they said, "Where's the beef?" Well, I think we found it. It's right here in the way of a Magnum by Boker. Yeah, it's the Mortem. So we've got kind of the size on this thing here. So the blade we have looked at, gone over, thumb studs, got jimping up here, covered that. The blade itself, I mean, it's super sharp. It is going to be very much usable. Let's look on this. You got your steel. So mainly for chopping. Now, one thing. Yeah. We've got pretty good cutting area even when we're holding the knife. So that's a positive on it. Do have a little bit of jimping underneath here. If we look, this is going to be a tip down carry where you cannot flip it to be tip up. So it's only right hand tip down. And that may be a bummer for some people. If I was going to carry it, that wouldn't stop me. And then we can look and see we've got the 2 pieces of stainless here. You have an area for a lanyard. Now, this is kind of something I do not care for, really. If you look here at the way that this is put together, I guess you might be able to use it in an emergency for a glass breaker. I really am not sure on how much I would trust this steel to actually smash something. If you like lanyards, go for it. But I'm not big on the design, the way that they did this. It's a frame lock. And then these notches that you have for your fingers. I mean, the skull idea, I'm cool with that. That doesn't look too cheesy for me. But when I'm holding this, I do not like any knife that makes all 4 of your fingers go into a specific slot, because nobody is all going to have. I mean, we actually have different size hands, fingers. Mine can be chubby, yours could be skinny. Who knows? But the thing with this is I don't want to have people, and that's a pretty small area to force your fingers in. So my pinky gets squeezed up against my other fingers, and that is actually a tight, that's not the most comfortable. The thumb up on the back, this is okay. This, even though it's just a little bit sharp down here on the actual handle, this feels okay up on the back of the blade. And it feels good in the hand, minus my fingers being kind of squeezed together. That's just the one negative. But other than that, the blade itself, super sharp. This is like a $25 knife. Yes, it's made in China. I don't mind, because for $25, I'll take this out and break it. Not on purpose, but if I was using it super hard, I'm going to get $25 out of this knife. So it's a good job. It's very well done with everything that they have here. I just wish a little bit, and you could probably, yeah, I thought maybe you could grind those off, but it's just, that's the only thing really. Trying to see none of this is even milled out. If you can notice on the, I'm looking on the inside of it. You got your standoffs here. Reverse is actually a little more comfortable because you have your thumb up here on the back of the spine, but you wouldn't use this for stabbing anything. I guess if you were thrusting into, but I don't really think that you would be reversing this blade very much. Yeah, I mean, the clip looks fine. Doesn't look like it's going to tear your pants up or anything. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, guys. You can see, taking a look at this, we'll just kind of lay it here. It's not a bad looking knife at all. Now, this was a gift. My best friend, who knows that I love knives, and he does a little bit of tinkering here and there for me. But, you know, and I'll never, ever say that because someone gets me something that's expensive or has a high dollar that, oh yeah, this is really great, look what they did. Well, this is a $25 knife, and he surprised me with it and just said, and he was all excited. And he says, I got this knife, he knows I love skulls. And so this is a very, very sentimental and important. I will carry this to see how it feels in my pocket, and I will use it just to be able to get use out of it. Yep. So the 440A stainless, again, that's like a budget steel. These ridges up here on the top, the way that they're so pronounced, this is going to help achieve, like if you're doing controlled cuts where you need to cut, stop, you know, whether it be feathering or, you know, making real like intricate small cuts. It's going to help give you control on the top of the blade. Yep. So Boker, you did a great job. Appreciate you guys watching this. I've got some more stuff that'll be coming out, and probably bounce around a little. I've got some OTFs I need to review. I've got some more expensive stuff I need to try to pull out just to look at and go over and review as well. And with that, guys, hey, have a great day, night, wherever, whatever you're doing. I appreciate you taking the time to watch. It's been kind of a rough few weeks for me, at least, but I'm still in the saddle. And no, I'm not talking with my hands right now. Maybe I should be. That would help me. But let's remember our pets. Remember the vets, the little furry ones, the non-furry ones, the little guys that lick and kiss and love us. Our pets are probably one of the most valuable things that we have in our days, if you're a pet person. And then with that, the vets, men and women that laid it on the line for us to be able to have what we've got today. And with that being said, keep your eyes open. Our channel is rolling. You guys are really, I can't even believe it. I mean, I think we're at almost 450. I've gotten like 50 people, in the last week? So everything's just going, exactly as the plan was written. I couldn't be happier. Numbers aren't going to say everything to me because right now this is some of the most fun. And I'm tickled pink. So we're going good on that, guys. And have a great day till we meet again. Take care, guys. Love who you see in the mirror.